Hello, everyone. I'm honored and pleased to be here. I'm Dr. Tony Jimenez, Chief Medical Officer of Hope for Cancer Treatment Centers, and we're here with Dr. Leslie Gomez, Staff Physician, Pediatrician, and Head of the BEST program, the Behavioral, Emotional, Spiritual Therapy. But the true hero of this is Mr. Gustavo. Mr. Gustavo is an 84-year-old young male, as you see, was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer, meaning prostate cancer that had spread to the bones in multiple areas. Dr. Leslie is his daughter. Exactly. And so what a beautiful time here to spend with both of you. Thank you for being here. And let's, Dr. Leslie, just jump in.
Sure.
You know your dad better than any of
Yes.
us. And we started seeing him almost over 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yes.
So, Mr. Gustavo, if you can, give us a brief summary of how this started in 2017. Yes.
Yeah, it must have been about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't realize that when I got the problem, because I call it a problem. I don't call it sickness. I call it a problem. Problem that I learned was caused by my actions in the past. And about 2 years ago, due to the prostatic
Antigen.
labs I had,
Yeah.
they started to grow from 5 points up to 7, then 12, then 27, then 700, and then it went up to 1,100, which was very, very high.
Yes.
That's when my daughter started to get very worried about my conditions. I didn't realize at that time that I had cancer, because you're the last person who admits that has a problem. So she asked me to come to the clinic. I accepted, and then I met you, I talked to you, and I was not really convinced that this was the way to go, because my way of thinking was quite different. At that time, when I talked to Dr. Tony, he told me that there was 3 main things that I had to take into account. One was to accept that I had a problem. 2, to accept that I wanted to get well. And 3, to accept that my life was going to change. Okay. The first one, due to the labs that I had, I realized that I did have a problem. Second, when Dr. Tony asked me if I wanted to get well, I told him, of course I want to get well. Everybody wants to get well. And Dr. Tony says, you'd be surprised that at your age, some people just give up. They say, no, I'm too old. And from what I had heard and the experience I had with other people, this sickness of cancer is very long and very stressful and painful thing to go through. So some people say that they'd rather live 4 or 5 years in an easy way than start to get under labs and things that they do to them.
Chemo and radio.
And things like that. And I say, well, of course I want to get well. He says that then your life has to change, because during more than 80 years, my life was a turmoil. I was always working, I was always worrying, I was always time. Time was the main thing that I was, that was my God. Time.
You're an engineer, right?
I'm an engineer.
Yes.
I'm an engineer, and I have worked all my life, most of all my life. And then I said, I told Tony, yes, I will change my way of life. I told my daughter also, but I did not believe what I was saying. So the first time I came here for 5 weeks for treatment. And during those 5 weeks of different treatments, I felt real good. then my prostate values went down from 1,100 to lower and lower and lower. And now after 2 years, I have 3, which is
Your PSA is 3.
Yeah.
3.
Oh.
From being over 1,000, he's down to 3, and he's been
1,100,
below
3.
5 for the last year
Okay.
or more. He's been good.
And with respect to the different therapies that you have
Different
done,
therapies I
right?
had,
Yeah.
and doctor told me, okay, the chemotherapy, we don't do that. We don't believe in that because that kills the good part of you and the bad part of you. So I was very glad to hear that because I have seen people who had chemotherapy and actually they're not the same people. Once they have it,
They're never the same.
they never recover and
Yeah.
they spend a lot of time in bed and they spend a lot of time in the hospitals. So I decided that I was going to give it a try. I was going to give it a try.
So the harder part in the beginning, when we start with SAC therapy, was to drink water.
Right.
That was the first thing. He didn't drink any water.
I don't drink.
So that was a challenge
I hardly
for
drink
him.
any water at all. And when they told me the SNC that I had to have a glass,
500
tall glass in the morning,
milliliters
tall glass in the at midday,
at noon.
and tall glass before going to bed, that was for me was hard. It's still a little bit hard, but after seeing the results, there's no way I can live without it because. When my daughter told me, okay, cancer is not really a big problem because at your age you may die, and Tony said the same thing, you may die from something else, but you will not die from cancer unless that cancer goes to your bones. And very soon after I got diagnosed, it went to the bones. And it really went bad. It really went bad. And I started to feel very tired. I started to feel a little bit of hurt in my back and
Very weak,
very weak, very weak.
foggy brain.
Then I could not concentrate. And due to my work, I have to concentrate. I have to concentrate because I have
It
to
so
make
works.
decisions. I have to make decisions. I have to speak because my main customers are from the States. Then I have to give lectures and I have to talk to people and I have to convince people that what we're doing, our product is the best. Then I would have to concentrate very much because I speak in English and I think in Spanish. And one thing is the English language, normal, but the other is technical language. So I had to be translating all the time and I had to be wide awake and I began to fail on that. I began to forget things. I could not concentrate. I could not work the way I used to work. So that, but I learned or I saw that after taking the SNC for some time, I cannot tell you how long. But then I began to feel better. I never had any, my bones don't hurt. I never had any broken bones. And I can concentrate now. And everything is.
Your fingers, you mentioned something of your hands.
My fingers, my cramps have gone away. My life changed. And one thing that's very, very interesting on this case, Tony told me that this illness that I do have is not really a sickness. It's your body's telling you that you're sick, that you have to do something about it. And half of the things you have to do in order to get well is you have to have faith and you have to want to do things. So that part I realized, I didn't even realize when it happened, but it did happen. I was afraid that because I had to work half the time that I used to work. I used to work 8-10 hours a day, and they said you cannot do that anymore. you have to rest, you have to take it easy. And I said, what's going to happen? Because even if I'm 84 years old, I still have to produce in order to live. Okay? But then something happened that I did what I was told to do, and things started to get better, a lot better.
So like your mind and your emotions also changed the way you were working.
Completely.
And actually achieving more things with less work.
I achieved twice as much with half the work.
Yes.
That's very interesting. Very interesting.
So you're well on your way to what, 120 years? Right? Why not?
Why
That's
not?
right, that's right.
Right,
Because
why not?
even if I'm 84, and now that I feel a lot better, I don't think about dying. I don't want to die. I want to keep on working. I want to keep on doing things. I want to keep on coming here because at the beginning, I came here because I had to come here.
Someone forced you.
I didn't ask. I just said when you say yes, when you're willing to. It took him 6 months to make this decision, but I said once you're on this side, there's no turning back.
Right.
Because this is a life-changing thing.
And the idea
believe
that I
that.
had that I was going to, let's say I was going to live for 5, 8, 10 years, those years were going to be very bad ones for me because I was a sick man. But no, that has not happened.
And what are you thinking now? How long are you going to take the SAC therapy?
Forever.
Forever. Yeah.
Forever. Because
So what happened
once-
when you
one- I had I don't know why, but I had a stroke.
arrhythmia? You had an arrhythmia that stopped your heart.
Yeah, my heart stopped, and I had to go to the hospital. I was at the hospital for 1 week. Then I quit all my therapies because the other doctor said, we don't know why you had it, because they never found out why I had a stroke. They never found out. And they said, we cannot take a gamble on what you're doing, cause you what you do have. So we stopped everything, and the SNCI stopped it. And during those days, then I began to feel better because being at the hospital, they put your things all day long, all day long. But after I left the hospital and I went home, then I began to feel different. I could not concentrate. I could not think. My speech was very slurry, very, very slurry. I could not communicate with people because I left my medicines and my whatever I was doing here. As soon as I started taking it again, because I was given the green light to do so, I began right away to pick up. And so now I'm not going to leave it because it's a very hard and awful feeling to think, but not be able to communicate and not be able. I had my work here. I read it, and I could not concentrate. I could not understand what I was doing, and that's an awful
Very
feeling.
stressful.
I'm just so proud of you, Mr. Gustavo, for really doing what you needed to do. And look at you now. Wow, I hadn't seen you for a few months, but you look great.
And it's not really me. It's not really me because I learned here that there are other things besides the way you live. There are other things that are worthwhile a lot more. And the things that I learned in this clinic, that it changed my whole way of life. It changed my whole way of life. And I thank God and thank you people, because at my age, I can start over again.
Awesome.
I can say that I was reborn.
Oh,
I
that's
can say that
powerful.
because
It is.
I want to live. And there was a time when I did not want to live. There was a time when I said, well, what the heck. Whatever had to be, has to happen, it happened. Whatever I did, There's no future anymore, and that's not true.
And that's so interesting, because we were talking about the emotional with Dr. Tony and how SAC can affect in a very positive way, like a going up a spiral instead of going down a spiral. That when you feel with good energy, your whole mind changes, and that changes your whole life and around you.
For example, Monday mornings to me was a nightmare. To me it was a nightmare because I couldn't get up, I couldn't sleep. That's another thing. I'm sleeping well now. I couldn't sleep, and on Mondays it took me the whole day to get started up again. And now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, everything is the same. I don't feel that feeling. And whoever has felt like that, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, he always had some kind of depression. There is some in the family, in his side, like some kind of depression going on in everybody. That's gone also with SAC. I noticed that. Gone.
And I thought my depressions were inherited. Well, my father was very depressed man. I'm going to be depressed. Right. So I thought that was normal, and that is not normal.
It's not normal.
It's not normal. Another thing, I used to shake a lot. I used to shake here and shake here. I don't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore. I thought I was going to have Alzheimer.
Or Parkinson or something.
Yeah, because...
Yeah. And something interesting is that your hand, he mentioned,
also,
his fingers.
Also,
you shared with Dr. Tony about that.
This one started the same as this one. It stopped. All of a sudden stopped, and I don't.
No more pain.
No more pain. And
they
no
were
more.
Growing.
The fingers do not crook anymore.
Like a bit of like a rheumatoid arthritis that was stopped and reversed.
It stopped and it's reversing actually. And he was already using back support. He's not using it anymore. So
we see multiple benefits here,
yes.
not only for the cancer,
benefits.
right, but for
not only physical, or mentally, which is you cannot tell which is worse, the mentally or the physical.
Yes.
And I have both now. If you ask me, what percentage have you? Did you see your life better than you did 2 years ago? I would say 90%. 90%. Because I feel good. I want to live. I want to do things. Of course, my age doesn't help me a lot because I still want to do things I used to do.
Yeah.
That's another thing I learned. You have to take it easy. You have to rest. You have to change your. The hard part of this treatment is the food. Because I was used to eating meat, I was used to eating everything that I'm not supposed to eat. And that's something that I have changed.
Okay.
It has helped me. I'm still struggling. I cannot tell you that
100% better.
I have mastered it. No.
Well, no one's perfect. That's okay. So you have a lot of words of wisdom. In closing and parting, what would you like to say and encourage the viewers of your brilliant history and testimonial? What are your words of parting?
Okay, the thing I would say is listen to your doctors, listen to this type of medicine because it does work. It does work. People say that it does not work. It does work. It will change your whole life. It will change your attitude. It will change your attitude towards other people. Your life changes completely. Your life changes completely. And I make emphasis once again. One thing is the physical part of it, and the other one is the mental part of it. And it goes hand by hand.
And the SAC therapy was a big part of.
I think that was the biggest part because on the studies I had 2 of them. The first one I had, my bones were very, very. I was invaded. I was invaded in front and in the back. Then I think a year after that, when I took the same type of lab, it disappeared in about 50%. I never had any problems with bones breaking. I never had any problems with hurt, because I read and it says that cancer in the bones is very painful.
Very painful.
Very painful. I can happily say that I never had any, and I have failed, I have fallen down, nothing
broken
happens to me.
So's my mom.
So if somebody, my word of advice is, somebody's in my case, and they tell you, you have cancer, well, the first time you hear the word cancer, it brings your whole world apart. The whole world apart. That does not have to happen. Does not have to happen. All you have to do is listen, pay attention, go to the right places, eat the right food, take the right medicine, and you will be surprised that in no time at all, because 2 years is not that long.
So you can say that there are always other options, and Hope for Cancer is one of the ones that will bring the best of the world, right?
That's it. And in here, I feel great. Like I mentioned before, at the beginning I came here because I had to come here. Now I look forward to coming.
Yeah, now he wants to
Now I
live
look
here.
forward
Yes. Right. Well, Mr. Gustavo,
Because
thank
after
you.
1 week or 2 weeks of therapy, I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
But that's not all. I have to keep on doing it back home.
Right.
And the CNC, I never miss it.
Yeah.
I never miss it.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so
And I
much.
think that's-
Muchas gracias.
Al contrario.
Bendiciones.